There is a quiet fear that most people never admit. It does not shout. It whispers. It whispers when you notice your first wrinkle, when your energy doesn't last as long as it used to, when younger voices grow louder and yours grows softer. It asks, "What will become of me when I am no longer needed?" Old age frightens many people, not because of time, but because of identity. In youth, we are becoming. In middle age, we are building. But in old age, who are we? According to the teachings attributed to the Buddha, especially in early discourses preserved in texts like the Dhammapada, suffering arises not from aging itself, but from our resistance to change. The body was always meant to change. The hair was always meant to turn gray. The skin was always meant to soften. Yet we cling. We cling to youth, to relevance, to admiration. And that clinging is what creates fear. The first lesson for a peaceful old age is this: aging is not a mistake, it is a completion. You are not losing yourself. You are shedding illusions. The Buddha himself left behind a life of royalty and comfort. As the story goes, before enlightenment he encountered sickness, old age, and death for the first time. That moment changed everything. It was not youth that awakened him. It was seeing aging. Old age is not an enemy. It is a teacher. The question is not, how do I avoid growing old? The question is, how do I grow old without bitterness? And that begins with acceptance, because the first piece of old age comes when you stop fighting time and start flowing with it. In Part 2, Let Go Before Life Forces You to, there is something life will eventually take from all of us: control. When we are young, we believe we control outcomes. We control careers. We control relationships. We control our future. But as the years pass, life humbles us. Friends move away. Children grow independent. Careers end. Strength weakens. And if you built your identity on control, old age becomes terrifying. The second lesson: practice letting go before life forces you to. In Buddhist philosophy, this principle is known as non-attachment. Non-attachment does not mean indifference. It means loving deeply, without gripping tightly. The difference? Attachment. When you release your need to be admired, to be powerful, to be validated, you gain something greater: inner steadiness. And that steadiness becomes your greatest wealth in old age. Part 3. Your mind becomes your true home. There comes a time when the outer world shrinks. You may not travel as far. You may not socialize as much. You may not move as quickly. So where do you live? If your peace depends on activity, old age feels empty. But if your peace comes from within, old age becomes sacred. The Buddha taught that the mind, when trained, becomes a refuge. Meditation is not just for monks. It is preparation for aging. When you learn to sit quietly, when you learn to observe your thoughts without reacting, when you learn to breathe through discomfort, you are building a home inside yourself, and that home does not age. There are elderly people whose bodies tremble, but whose minds are calm oceans. There are young people with strong bodies, but restless, chaotic minds. Which life would you rather have at 70? The third lesson: invest in the mind you will live with forever. Your body may weaken, but clarity, compassion, presence, these deepen with time if you cultivate them. Old age is not meant to be loud. It is meant to be aware. There is something more destructive than wrinkles, more exhausting than physical weakness, more isolating than silence. Bitterness. Many people do not grow old peacefully. They grow old resentfully. They replay old betrayals. They rehearse old arguments. They relive missed opportunities. They say, "My children don't visit enough. The world has changed too much. No one respects elders anymore." And slowly, their hearts harden. But listen carefully. A hardened heart suffers more than an aging body. In early Buddhist teachings, preserved in texts like the Majjhima Nikaya, anger is described as something that burns the one who holds it. Not the offender, not the past, the one who holds it. When you carry resentment into old age, you poison your remaining years. But when you choose forgiveness, you free yourself. Forgiveness is not saying what happened was right. It is saying, I refuse to let this define the rest of my life. Imagine reaching 70, 80, and feeling light instead of heavy. The fourth lesson: release resentment before it becomes your personality. And right now, pause. Take a breath. Think of one person, just one, you are still holding anger toward. You don't have to say their name. But in the comment section, write, I release. That's it. 2 words. I release. Not for them, for you. Because peaceful old age begins long before the hair turns gray. It begins the day you decide not to carry yesterday into tomorrow. Part 5. Service keeps the soul young. There is a strange illusion in modern society. It says, when you are old, you are no longer useful. But the Buddhist teachings never measured a person's worth by productivity. They measured it by compassion. When your career slows, when your physical strength declines, there is still something you can give. Wisdom, presence, listening, kindness. Some of the most peaceful elders are not the wealthiest. They are the ones who serve. They mentor a younger person. They volunteer quietly. They give advice without ego. They pray for others. They offer patience in a world that rushes, and something beautiful happens when you stop asking, what can I get? And start asking, what can I give? Old age transforms from decline into contribution. Service does not exhaust the spirit. It renews it. Because when you serve, you forget yourself, and forgetting the ego is freedom. The 5th lesson, stay generous, even when your body slows down. There is no retirement from compassion. You may retire from a job, but you never retire from being kind. And kindness, more than youth, keeps the heart alive. Part 6, simplicity becomes your greatest treasure. When you are young, life feels like accumulation. More money, more recognition, more possessions, more experiences. But if you observe elders who are truly at peace, you'll notice something surprising. They are not surrounded by excess. They are surrounded by simplicity. A simple routine, a simple home, a few meaningful relationships, a quiet morning. In Buddhist philosophy, craving is the root of suffering. This teaching appears repeatedly in foundational texts like the Samyutta Nikaya, where desire is described as the fire that keeps the mind restless. When you are constantly wanting more, peace always feels just out of reach. But in old age, something shifts. The noise becomes tiring. The competition feels unnecessary. The desire to impress fades. And what remains? Contentment. Simplicity is not deprivation. It is refinement. It is choosing depth over volume, meaning over noise, stillness over stimulation. Imagine reaching 80 years old and needing very little to feel complete. A warm drink, a quiet chair, a calm mind. That is wealth. The 6th lesson, simplify before life simplifies for you. Let go of what you do not need, physically, emotionally, mentally, because the lighter you travel, the softer old age feels. Part 7. Make peace with death and you make peace with life. This is the lesson most people avoid, but it is the one that brings the deepest serenity. Death. The Buddha did not teach fear of death. He taught awareness of it. In fact, one of the most transformative contemplations in Buddhist practice is remembering that life is impermanent. Everything changes. Every breath is temporary. Every body is temporary. Every moment is temporary. And strangely, when you stop pretending you will live forever, you begin to live more honestly. Old age becomes peaceful not because you deny death, but because you accept it. There is a calm dignity in someone who says, I have lived and I am at peace with the cycle of life. When death is no longer an enemy, it becomes a teacher. It reminds you to forgive faster, to love deeper, to speak truth gently, to appreciate ordinary days. The 7th lesson, if you prepare your mind for death, you free your life from fear. And here is the truth most people miss. Old age is not the end of usefulness. It is the completion of becoming. It is the season of reflection, the season of wisdom, the season of spiritual ripening. You do not decline, you distill. In the next episode, we will talk about the habits that quietly destroy peace in old age. You won't want to miss it.